Oliver Ward here, filmmaker, virgin YouTuber, professional fun haver. Phew! Whoa. This video is specifically for people who want to get more views for the real estate listings or more bookings for their Airbnb truck. Let's roll into it. Here we go. Minus 20. Woo. All right, let's go learn how to take better real estate / Airbnb pictures. Just so you guys know, this is real weather, real Canadian weather. To be honest, that's not even that bad. We often get to like the minus 30s here. So we are in Muskoka, Canada. This is cottage country. There's a lot of real estate up here, tons of Airbnbs. And today I'm gonna show you my tips and tricks for taking the best real estate and Airbnb photos. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I set up the camera, how I frame things, and then how I process those. Really good photos just make the listing more inviting. It tells the person looking at your listing that, oh, this person obviously cares, they're professional, they're gonna give a really good level of service. And that's really important when you're competing in a competitive market like this Airbnb market up here in Muskoka or wherever it is that you're listing. That also goes with real estate. You want your photos to stand out from the rest, so when people are scrolling through looking at listings, those pictures. There she is. All right, before we take these pictures, let's just take a real quick tour outside. Man, it's cold outside. Any of you who do a lot of photography or videography in the winter in places like Canada, I've got a great little side tip for you, and that is these gloves. They are what they call like all-weather golf gloves. They're super thin, but they keep your hands really warm. They're a little bit tacky as well. And the best part is they work on any touch screen. So these are a great buy. I'll put a little link down below where you can buy these on Amazon. No one-man losing. So here we are. Yeah, we're kind of just outside of the town of Huntsville. Beautiful little cottage on the river here. They call this the Big East River. It's an awesome rental if you're gonna come down here in the summer and you wanna canoe. And then in the winter, we're right by Arrowhead Park, which is like some of the best skating and cross-country skiing. And this is like 5 minutes away, so it's a perfect place to rent out if you wanna go on a little Nordic vacation. So yeah, here's the view of the river. So let's go inside and talk about real estate Airbnb photography. Oh, she is dirty. That's like a true Canadian dad's minivan. What do we got in here? A work shirt, box of hard drives and laptop, a snowboard, and then just a lot of shit. And we're in. Ooh, there we go. Nice and warm. All right, let's take a quick tour and then let's talk photography. Got a nice little den down here, a little laundry room. Don't need to really look in there. Cozy little nook. Come up here, awesome view. I don't know if that's blown up behind me or not. Bathroom, awesome kitchen. So cozy and organized. I love it. Really cool ceiling. Awesome bunks for the kids. And then this super cozy master bedroom. Okay, so let's get right to it. Key thing about this location is that it's in the middle of the woods, and then the house is full of windows. So every window that you look at, you've got these awesome views of nature. It'd be a real bummer if you're shooting the interior and you couldn't see out the window. And if you set up your camera and you take one shot and you expose for the light inside, you're not likely gonna be able to see out those windows because the exposure outside is so much brighter. So I'm gonna show you how to take a really beautiful picture of the interior while also being able to see out the window. And that's a big part of why people come to stay at Airbnbs or what they look for in a property. Everyone's like, oh, I just want a place with lots of light. So I'm gonna show you how to show people that there's lots of light. Check it out. My rule of thumb is don't shoot from weird angles. Shoot from the angle as if you just walked into the house and you're taking a tour for the first time. That's the perspective that you want. Don't be up on this couch or high up in this corner. Really, where you're gonna be pretty close to the center of the room. You're gonna be standing in doorways, looking into bedrooms. The best height for real estate photos is generally around hip height, or I would say 3 feet off the ground. And the reason for that is with real estate photography and Airbnb photography, you're generally gonna be using a really wide angle lens because you wanna be able to show the entirety of the room in one shot. If you try to piece together shots, people kind of get confused to where they are. You really want to capture as much as you can in one photo. So I'd recommend anywhere from between a 12 and a 16 millimeter for real estate or Airbnb photography. But when you have this super wide angle lens, what happens is you kind of get warping on the edges. I don't know if you can see that. And so as you tilt up and down, the vertical lines start going in and out like that. And that creates a really weird effect in a photo. Let me give you a quick example. So here you can see the vertical lines are nice up and down. But if I get up high and then I point down, you see my vertical lines start sticking up and out like that. You can see it really extreme here with the window. And if I get too low, the same thing happens. My lines start looking really weird. That's not natural. So what you want is to be about 3 feet off the ground. And then if you look here on the edge of the frame, you want these lines to be nice and vertical. And you just have to get it close, because I'm going to show you how in Lightroom you can tweak that in editing, but you just want to get it pretty close. So now I mostly have the shot set up. Then I kind of look around in the frame to see if anything kind of looks a little bit out of order. You know, do I want to fluff this pillow out, straighten it up? I've got this chair out here, which I don't like. It kind of takes away from the view. So what I'll quickly do is just move that chair out of the way. You know, pillow fluffing. Pillow fluffing is a huge part of real estate photography. I always go around, want to fluff and smooth out pillows. Never forget that. This is where the magic happens. It really doesn't matter what you're using, so long as it's a wide angle lens. You can pull off what I'm about to show you with any camera, as long as you have manual settings. All right, so camera settings. The first thing I do is I take my ISO and I put it to the lowest setting for best photo quality. So in this case, I'm going to be down at 100. Now my aperture, this lens goes to an f4. That's a bit too shallow for me. It's not the worst, but I think like a 5.6, a 6.3, those are fine. You don't want to go way up, because then you're really fighting with light. So I usually like to stick around a 5.6 or 6.3. So we'll go with 5.6 because it's pretty dark in here. And then on your manual settings, I'm going to be doing this on my Sony. On Nikon, on Canon, it's going to be different, but you're going to go to whatever your drive mode is. Normally you're on single shooting or continuous low shooting. What I want you to do is find your self timer. The reason we're using the self timer is so that there's no camera shake when we do this, because what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 identical photographs. All you need is a 2-second self timer, which gives you enough time to push the shutter and then take your hand off. So now we got our 2-second shutter. We're going to take 3 photos, and all we're going to be adjusting is the shutter speed. And all I'm looking at is my exposure level right here. You can see that -2.0. That means I'm 2 stops under exposure, or even more than that because it's flashing. So I'm going to change my shutter until I get that number at 0. Now this means in general for the room, I'm exposed as properly as I can get. And as you can see, my windows, the light outside is really blown out. So if I were just to take 1 photo, I'd have incredibly overexposed exterior. Now the second thing I do is I take another shot, which is 2 stops over. And this is so that, see this little dark spot right here by the couch? I want to bring that up a little. Now I'm going to change my shutter either to 1 or 2 stops over. Let's go 1.3. And this is the reason I like to do this manually. You can use bracketing, but then you don't have as much control. So I'm going to take that shot. And now finally, we're going to go underexposed. So we're going to bring our shutter way up. And usually about 2 stops under is exactly what you're looking for. Or you can also be looking just outside to see when can I see out these windows nicely. Right around here looks pretty good because I'm looking at both windows, this window and this window right here. So then I take my 3rd shot. There you go. And now I have 3 identical shots at different exposures. Here, here, and here. That is the key. You want to take 3 shots at 3 different exposures. As a general rule, you want to get a perfect even exposure. So at your 0, you want to be 2 stops over, you want to be 2 stops under, or anywhere between there. And that's where you go on manual mode, and you sort of just have to get used to it. As you do it over time, you start to know it works a little better, but anywhere between 1 and 2 stops over and 1 and 2 stops under. So that's the end of video 1. That's how I take the photos. Now, if you want to click through to video 2, I'm going to show you how I process them in Lightroom. If you like this tutorial, please give me a like down below, subscribe. I'm going to be doing weekly videos. Let me know what you do for your real estate photos and if you'll implement this trick the next time you go out. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.